Good morning, everyone. It is Andrea from Energy Healing by Andrea, and we're going to pull our card for the day, and we're going to use the Rose Oracle today. So let's see what our guides want us to hear and know, what energies are out there, what messages, what do we need to learn for all of us that are watching this right now. What do we need to hear today? Open. Say yes. Expand through the extremes. Trust life. Open. Ready? This is probably one of the biggest challenges of life, keeping your heart open through the extremes. No one is immune to the highs and lows of the human experience, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the love to the loss. We can't bypass the difficult parts of being human if we want to truly experience the bliss. And if you close your heart off to the grief, you will not be able to fully enjoy the joy. The rose teaches us this. Season after season, she knows that if she doesn't surrender to each of the seasons, come summer, she won't be able to bloom. Birth teaches us this too. The safer the mother feels, the more she can be open. Living and dying with your heart open is truly a courageous act, as a life well lived is full of losses and tragedies, as well as great love, triumphs, and adventures. When we're going through difficult times, when we most want to separate, the healing is often found in connection, not separation. When we close our heart and shut down because the pain is too much, we find ourselves more separate than before. The rose shows us how to open to the world no matter what the day brings. This card is here to encourage you to say yes to life, to expand through the extremes, and to put your 2 feet wholly and completely in. And the soul inquiry for this card is, how can you say yes to life? So I deal with this a lot with my sessions. So I'm an emotion energy healer. I release stuck and trapped emotions and traumas in the mind and body. So when we do not allow ourselves to acknowledge the sadness, acknowledge the pain, feel it, just be in it, no matter how uncomfortable and terrible it is, when we don't allow that to happen, it stays inside and it doesn't leave. And no matter how much we're like, oh, I've dealt with it, it's fine. Oh, I've dealt with it, it's fine. Oh, I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine. You're not fine. Your body on the inside is going through turmoil. And no matter how much you disassociate from it, no matter how much you close off, it's still in there, and it will cause dis-ease, discomfort, imbalance, disharmony within the mind and body. And it's going to come out in different ways. So eventually, when your body just can't take it anymore, it's going to start not functioning properly. And then it's going to be hard to figure out because it's an emotional energy that's in there, right? Now, obviously, they do cause problems with actual body parts. You know, cancer doesn't start off that way. IBS doesn't start off that way. Crohn's disease doesn't start off that way. They start as little things and then they grow into big things. But sometimes at the beginning, when we're just like, I don't feel well, I don't feel good, I don't know what's wrong, the doctor's like, everything's fine. And you're like, I'm not fine. What's going on? It's usually because it's connected to some sort of an emotional distress or trauma that we have lived through that we have not worked through. And so as much as we want to be like, we're fine, we're not. And so until we get rid of all of those things from the inside of us, from our mind and body, we can't actually be at peace. And the more that we ignore it and don't look at it, the worse things are going to happen for us. The more we get triggered, the more we react, the more our bodies react in a negative way. So we need to look at it. We need to face it. We need to feel it. It's going to suck. But then we have that space in us that's now open to be filled with positive, beautiful, loving, light energy. And so it's like, I guess, what would I, like a Band-Aid, say. Like, it hurts, right? To take a Band-Aid off. But sometimes it's better to rip it off and deal with it right away than to take it off one little hair at a time, right? That takes very long. It causes more pain than just the big amount of pain that takes less time. Does that make sense? I don't know if that was the right analogy. But the way the triggers work and the way that emotional pains work is that they're all associated with certain things. And so if we hold on to one thing and then something else happens, it becomes bigger. And then something else happens and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So we don't want all of that there. We want to take all of that and like throw it away. And then we can be free on the inside to be filled with beautiful, loving, glowing, light energy. It's not saying it's not going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Life is painful. Stuff happens and we do not understand why. But it's better to have that big cry. It's better to have that huge scream. If you need to go to one of those places, axe throwing plates, go on the top of a mountain and scream. If you need to cry, if you need to sit in your shower and just let it all out and kind of just have that moment for yourself, do that. Let it out. Feel it. Feel that horrendous, horrific, awful sadness, pain, disappointment, fear, anger, so that we can move on. I feel like I got carried away there. But you know my point. We hold stuff in. It's not good for us. We need to let it go. Just like the rose knows when it needs to let stuff go so that it can rebuild and be beautiful and strong again. If it doesn't do that, it cannot do that. So, have a great day, everyone. I'm sorry if that was depressing, but it's the truth. Bye-bye.